Yes, healing candy. Okay. 5 to 4. Why is it doing that? Maple herb extract. And this one. What happened to Seribot? Did I DC? Yay! The time passed? Not really. Okay. Sleepy candy? I don't have that. Sigh candy? Curse lifting candy? What did I make? I don't remember. I don't remember. A bit. Uh-oh. I hope I didn't lose my VOD stuff. It makes me start over. If I have to upload 2 videos, I'm gonna be very sad. Like, clockwise. It cut the VOD? It did? No, I didn't even notice. I'm back. Okay. I want to sell this. So that I have money. Do I sell it to her? Candy is for sale. I have Psy candy. I have healing candy. Or yes. I have curse lifting candy. Oh, my candy is only worth 20. That's it. That's all the candies I have. Please let me purchase. I wish to buy candied candy. I feel like I should buy these recipes, but like... Did it really cut the VOD? Have to have 2. Oh my god, it did. Hacking Twitch. Or was it my OBS? No, it was Twitch. Hacking Twitch. Ah, yucks. Fine, I'll upload 2 videos. Okay. I want to do the pickaxe because I feel like I've been seeing rocks, but like, what do I do with the rocks? Man, I don't know. I wonder though if these ones will give more money. I feel like I'll need this later. It'll be super dark somewhere. Okay. I don't need a broom. I have one. I was supposed to make the nutrient potion, wasn't I? Silly Ellie, why do you do this to yourself? Lift the pickaxe, press the tool button, lower the pickaxe, release to strike slowly but harder with the pickaxe, hold down the use tool button. To move at a slow speed, press the directional button. Eh. Ah. Okay. Let's make the potion. Going mining now. Yeah, then I have something to make me shine too. Nutrition potion. What? There it is. I need... What is that? No. What is that? I had one of those and I used it up. I had one of those and I used it up. Come on. Unlock autocraft. Oh, I can autocraft healing candies now. Hack the bush bugs. I can hack. Do we even have... Witches were known to be avid miners. Crave the mines. Okay, I don't have stamina though. Guess I can eat the beef stew. Okay, rustling bushes. Show me where you are. What? Okay, swinging it doesn't use stamina, but when I get one, it does. What? Oh, why did I do that? Less stamina now. Whoops. Whoops, whoops. I hear something again. I hear something. What am I hearing? Do you guys hear it too? Here, I can eat this and now I'll have more stamina. Yay! Oh. Oh. So they make a sound. Got it. Yoink. Okay, well I can only grab one, I guess. Off to the house we go. This is where we live, right? Yes. Maybe the little fox kid yearns for the mines. Take the kid with us. Bush bug. I can make two. And then I guess we'll sleep and do the thing tomorrow. Yeah. I can make two. Maple herb extract. Flame 3. If the Atelier games held your hand this much, I would play them more often. Bush bug extract. Stir clockwise. I panicked when I saw the bar go up. Messed up. Hey, I can make it again, right? This way. Keep it at 3. Whoa! Because then I can use it for the birds and get the little flower things. This one's perfect, I bet. 99. 98? Man. It just doesn't want to give it to me, I guess. I'll put this away. This away. Wait, what's this? I only have important stuff. How do I organize my thing? E? No. F? Yes. Fix my broom. Lovely. Play them anyway? You have vent backseat you? Bruh. It's too much. My little noggin couldn't. Why did it say I didn't have stamina to save? Don't have enough stamina to do what? We're going eep. I'm not sleepy yet. Girl. Run around outside. You will be sleepy. You are getting sleepy. Now I bet you're sleepy. Yeah! Stretch! Okay. Oh, something new? Are you interested in making a large sum of money? Yes? Of course I am! Hey, isn't that a typical line to start a fraud? Now that you mention it, it's not like what you're thinking. What I want to say is, do you want to earn more money? That is also a typical speech of a scammer. Don't tell me. I mean, clean money. Well, let me rephrase. Ahem. Ellie, we're offering a service that's yet to be listed in the witch's catalog. Are you interested? Are you sure it's a legal service? Of course. It's a legal and official service that helps deliver candies specified by the Witch Administration. It is called Visiting Candy Delivery Service. Ellie's deaf crim? This is not my crim arc. But isn't the association purchasing candies all the time? The candy delivery service will provide a fixed list. Submit the listed items and the association will buy them at higher prices. Since the prices are higher than daily purchase, the service is quite popular. Sounds pretty nice, huh? Most witches' houses are participating, but to be qualified for candy delivery, you need to prove your skills first. Prove my skills? After you've passed the potion making test, you can deliver potions. I'm confident about my test-taking skills, you know. Ellie, your expression doesn't match your line. I graduated magna cum laude from the School for Witches, and I didn't win this honor with a rock, paper, scissors. You won it with talents, last-minute cramming, and by chance. The witch's broom test was a good example. But I always got full score in potion making. Then there's no problem. Of course. I'll give you a test list then. Make all the candies on the list and you pass. Show me what you're capable of. I just sold them all. I sold them all last night. This is Diane who brings happiness. Personal stories? Does this village happen to have any bakeries? Bakery? Not yet. Not yet? Oh, I didn't tell you. The village has been badly destroyed by the prickly vines and the people are all gone. Oh, I see. That's why I'm removing the prickly vines and restoring the village. You're amazing. It's nothing special. But why a bakery? It's my hobby to try unique desserts of every village I visit. I was looking forward to the desserts of this village. What a pity. Career ended. Listen. There was probably a bakery in the village originally. I'll let you know if it is restored. Thank you. It's a deal. Chit chat. The witch's house. A witch's house best reflects the personality of the master witch. This one is considered less eccentric than most. So messy, right? quest. Curse lifting candy and healing candy. I don't have any. Hold on. I can make it right now, probably, maybe. Surely. Right? I think I need more of the... I need more bush bug. I should have it. Unless I made it yesterday and sold it. Curse lifting and healing, is that what it said? I already forgot. Holy heck. My noggin. I need this. I need the bush bug one. Go get a bush bug. Vroom. Where are the little bushes? Look! Little dab that he does. Get in my bag. Any more? Oh my gosh, these all aren't. What if this one looks darker than the rest of them? Suspicious. None of these are shaking either. Can I? Let's see. You. Collect in 1 second after. Oh, that was a fat one. That's a fat one, isn't it? E. Should I make it grow? Oh. Yoink. 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 And then also... Did I make 3? Yay! Okay, hold on. Hold on. Hold on now. People look for witch potions. I can step on that to get through now. Let's continue to follow the prickly vine traces. I will, but first, I have a potion to brew. Or a candy to make. I'm making, I'm in the candy selling business, guys. Pass it under the table. This one's special. Just for you. I should probably get that apple. Why are you both looking at me like that, huh? I am innocent. Until proven guilty. Let's see. Curse lifting candy. Oh, why can't I make the healing candy? Oh, I need the other thing. This one. So, bush bug extract. This one. And then this one. Keep to 3. Clockwise. See, if only the Atelier games had easier... 100! Easier alchemy system. And then the healing candy. Autocraft. Auto crafting makes the pot durability go down. Sure. Autocraft 1 for me. I wonder what I need to fix it. 78? I could do so much better. Okay, heat to 4. Watch it not actually be better. Ah, why is it hard all of a sudden? The game was like, oh, you're confident, are you? Watch this. I know this game is a lot of reading, but I think after stream I'm gonna read a book. I've been wanting to read something lately. Cleanse my palate of that last book that I read. Put these away, this away. Quality defects and auto crafting makes sense. Boo! I thought I would craft like my highest one. Was that last book bad? I can't say that it was bad. Oh, time still continues even if I'm... Okay. I can't say that it was bad. It was okay. The contents were bad. The things that happened in the story were bad. I need a different book in my mind, if that makes sense. Yes. Yes, this one. We're now purchasing this candy. Yeah, I got it. Quality is far better than I expected. You really deserve your honor. I certainly do. That means you've passed the test. Great! Then I'll brief you about the candy delivery rules. The candy delivery list refreshes every Monday and Thursday. You can deliver- oh my god, I need a notebook for this game. You can deliver any time before the next refresh day, but note that if you fail to deliver before the next refresh day, this order will become unavailable. In the beginning, you'll only get one list at a time, but the number of lists and candies required will increase as you complete more orders, so keep up the good work. Got it. Then I'll prepare the list so you can start from the next update. Thanks. I should be the one saying thank you. Oh, and there's one more thing. I hope you could go find the merchant for humans in this village. You mean Arya? If that's the name of the person purchasing candies in the village, yes. What? It's missing a T. What do you want Arya for? Most merchants of the Human Society also purchase candies, and they usually follow the rules of the Witch Society too. Since you've passed the test, you can deliver candies in the Human Society too. Okay, I'll ask Arya about it. My goal is to get off work on time. Got it. So we go back to the village. Run. Run. Oh. Why run when have broom? Why run when have broom? Look at him, so cute. What are you doing? Oops. Hello, meet my friend Popo. Hopscotch. Granny taught me this game. The Granny can't hop much. It's fun even if I play it alone, so it's fine. No more personal stories? Any quests? I don't have any tea brewed yet. Got it. Okay. Arya's down here. Arya. I've passed the candy delivery test. That's impressive. Since you've just begun your apprenticeship. It's nothing. I was a model student. I knew you could do it. I offer a candy purchase service similar to that of the Witch Association. Come to me if you want to earn some gold coins. Got it. I basically offer the same services as the Witch Society, except that I have different items on my purchase lists, and I trade in gold coins. Then, I'll get ready so you can start your delivery from tomorrow. Got it. Should I sell? Shall I sell to her? I think she buys... Ooh, she buys them at 100. Yes. Take it so that I can buy more bag space. Oh. Arden seems to have something for me. I came after seeing your flyer, so you did. The flyer was surprisingly welcoming. Did you write it yourself? Not really. I just found a stack of old ones lying around the place. Figured since there's a newcomer in town, I'd send one your way. Oh. Then does that mean you don't actually sell this helpful food the flyer mentioned? Of course I do. If I'm handing out flyers, I'd better be ready. I used to make those dishes back when the village was full of workers. But with everyone gone, there hasn't been a reason to. You're a witch, and you've got your hands full with all sorts of things. The food will help. These meals are made with extra care. They'll give you different kinds of boosts. Having food restores fatigue. Some food grants buffs in addition. Delicious black tea. I forgot about my tea. Everybody hydrate. White broom when brooms broom. Uh-huh. Yup. Food effects don't stack. Having a new type of food overwrites the current effects. Oh. The effects expire after a certain period when you run out of attempts or when you fall asleep. Got it. Not for free, of course. What's with that never skimping on pepper part? As for the pepper, it's simple. Food tastes better with a heavy hand. That's all. I can agree. That's a pretty underwhelming answer. You sure fuss over the smallest things. Oh, and Rubrim's tea can help too. You should drop by. Rubrim doesn't have anything. Okay, we go. She looks so lopsided in this thing, it's funny. Oh, I heard a thing again. Is it in this thing again? Is it back here? I like hear it, but I don't see it. I love the little 1 pixel eyes they have in this. It's really cute. I want one for myself. It makes me want to invest in more pixel art. Ugh. I need money to buy art. Or learn pixel art myself. I also happen to know a pixel artist. Smile. Stares at Ven directly. Makes direct eye contact for an uncomfortable amount of time. At Ven. No. Only if you wish. Only if you wish to live. Oh no! Good thing I had 2. A silly Ellie. How could you forget? I die now. I die now. Thank you forever. But oh, I accidentally went. I guess I could open this. I need chalk, but I don't have. What do I need? I need the shovel thing, huh? I need multiple. What is that? Hi, buddy. I can pet it. Hello. It went to sleep. Now what? Do I need a shovel? At least I can draw. If I can't... Ah! Oh, you can swim! I got scared. You may enter and swim in the water demarcated by the markers. When swimming, you may accelerate instantly or dive. Accelerating or diving will expend stamina. Got it. I got really scared. I don't know what this is. Oh, splash carrot. Swimming didn't exist when I played. This is all new to me. Were you able to pet these things? I don't know what I get for it, but they just go to sleep. I learned as many as 17 levels of heat in cooking, and I forgot all of them before I ever got the chance to use them. But you learned about this witch station too. You should be able to recall. Witch station, that sounds familiar. Now I remember, it's the teleportation device. To make it sound like a gadget from a novel, it sends you to the other witch station linked with it. I've read about teleportation in a novel from Mom, and I've always wanted to try it myself. Teleportation is a magic that requires prudent operation. That's why you need a qualification to build witch stations. To ensure safe travel. In short, they're easy and convenient to use. But this one seems to be broken. If a witch's station is abandoned for a long time, you must maintain it before using. But how do I maintain it? That you also learned in school. Witch station maintenance has been standardized completely. Be concise. Building one is hard, but maintaining one is easy. You just need the materials. It can usually be fixed easily with materials nearby. Okay. It finally tells me. I get to use it though. Should make traveling faster. No, not faster. It's marking it to the next one. Right? It's connected. A chest. Something good. Oh my goodness, money! Money, money, money. I can buy more inventory slots. What was that sound? Huh? What is that sound? Really not getting money under the table, they come from chests. Indeed they do. What is that sound? You're freaking me out, whatever you are. I need plenty of nutrition potions. Can't get that. I had 2! Is it you guys? Are you guys the one croaking? What is the sound? It's too noisy. The Gaga bird would make a sound like this if we hang it upside down. It's a real Gaga bird. Wait, that one isn't hanging upside down though. After all, Gaga birds are known for being insane. Maybe for the bird that's upside down. The prickly vine traces continue to the forest beneath the Gaga bird. Do you think we can get through? We can, as long as we put up with that terrible sound. That's what the earmuff potions are for. Okay. What's this? Mud. Whoops. Causing psychic damage, truly. I hear it again. But where? Here? I hear it. I hear it, but I don't see it. Oh my goodness. I need chalk. At least this is open now. I need a lot of chalk. Whoa. Whoa. Wait. You don't leave. You don't leave. One-eye frog. Can I not catch it with a net? I don't have enough stamina, of course. Let's eat something. In the water. How much of these do I have? Splash carrots? Where is it? Oh, 5. Let's get one more. Whoa! That's a lot of them. Did they just run into the water? I'm out of stamina. Let's go home. Let's go home before I go crazy from the sound. So I need at least 2 chalk and then a lot of the nutrition thing. But I don't remember what the nutrition one needs. The broom's gonna break. Wait. I can't. Do I have this? 10? Will that be enough? I don't have stamina. Stamina. Running out of stamina is like always what I struggle with. Let's see, is there anything I can make with this? Roasted one-eyed frog. I can roast them? Oh, that's horrible. That... Whoops. Rip frogs. Yeah. Ooh, splash carrot. Splash carrot juice. I guess I have Luna coins to buy the things. What else? How much did it... Okay, I needed 2 to make 1, so... Get them 2 at a time. I need to make a lot of this. Oh. At least it's... The ingredients aren't that bad. Come on. kind to me. Need a lot of bush bugs too. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. The little bubble is always so cute. Oh, I got two! Yay! Do I have any more? I don't think so. Put this away. You. I need chalk. I need at least 2 chalks, I think. And plenty more of the... Plenty more of the... What is it called? Nutrition potion. Thank you for this so much. I just did. But I will again. One moment. Alright, everybody. Stretch your fingies.
Thanks for your support!
Oh my goodness.
And Tempor dropped a sub.
Thank you for the 27 months. Oh, and the hydrate. Oh my goodness. Hold on, wait. Oh wait. Let me pause. So I don't get carpal tunnel. You press your fingers together? Oh my goodness. If you heard that pop, that was my wrist. Stretch your fingers. And then curl your fingers in, make a fist, and then curl your fist towards your wrist. Ah! The pain. Okay, now I hydrate. This tea is actually not bad. Blueberry and sage. For stress relief, stress management, or whatever. It has ashwagandha in it. Thank you for taking care of your Ellie Tamagotchi. Oh my goodness, my friend showed me a Tamagotchi that she has. It had like a little knob on the top corner, and it was huge too. They're making like more bigger ones. Oh, I didn't even sleep. It's only a matter of time before that thing becomes its own handheld thing. I wish they'd just make it into an app. Okay, it's morning. Oh, what the heck is this? Read sign. Which is catalog visiting hours? Huh. It's Sunday. You've passed the test, so you can deliver candies from now on. Usually, the delivery list refreshes Monday and Thursday, but this time, I'll make the exception and refresh it today. It will follow the regular schedule from the next time. Please note that the order that spawns today should be completed before the next refresh day, no later than this Sunday. Whatever that means. If you make and deliver candies well, you will get the chance to deliver more advanced candies in larger quantity. I look forward to your good work. Do you have any questions? I would like to purchase the earmuff potion. Yes. And chalk. I guess I need this too. Put this first. Yes. Oh, I can only buy one at a time. Okay. Can I sell then? Do I have any candies? I don't have any candies to sell. Heck. Heck. This? What is it? Splash carrot. Blue moon butterfly. I can get the blue moon butterflies now, but those are at night. Okay. For now, what do we do for now? For now, we can get rid of those vines. Or see what candies are... Wait. What candies can I sell? Green Forest. Huh? Green Forest. Beginner? Oh, 3 healing candies. 3 sleepy candies, 1 massage? That's a lot of money. 3 sleepy candies, 1... Let's see if I can make them. I already forgot how much. I need a notebook. I need a notebook. I remember when I played Season Story of Seasons, I would have like a little notebook. Let's see if I even have any ingredients for this. Teehee. What to make here? Nothing make here. What to make here? Bird flower extract. Maple herb. Squishy chub fur extract. And this one. And that's it. Okay. Healing candy. There's 3. Sleepy candy. What do I need for that? Well, I don't know what that one is. I think it's the butterfly. Right? Massage. Oh. What is that? I don't know what that is. Candies. Ooh. Silver Starbell pollen. The pollen. Where is the pumpkin terrier fur? Twinkles. You can't be serious. There's spiders in this game? So guys, it's been fun, but I think I'm gonna uninstall now. I think this is it. No, because what do you mean there's spiders? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean there's spiders? Like for real spiders? Or like a joke spiders? Like, you can't be serious. We have a problem. This is for sure going to be a problem. Funny spiders. Right. You know what doesn't have spiders? Death Stranding. Just a prank. Tea. I guess I'll use this one. Open sesame. And it is just... okay. A waste of time is what it is. I should have seen it. I knew it was there. Oh my god, if that thing does not stop. Shh. I want to know what these guys do. Oops. Is it just to make you stop? sleep? I guess I could look at your journal entry. Blue bubble lizard. Leave their pond to bask in sunlight on sunny days. Their dull face and tendency to drool makes them quite popular. They love getting their belly rubbed. The firm bubble they spit when they feel happy is used in a... Oh. Okay. A smile bubble. So, are you happy? I gotta make them happy. Mud. Oh, I don't have 3 mud. I think I put those away. Oh, I was supposed to get a shovel, wasn't I? What is this way? Oh, there's a chest. A red one. Pop, pop. Let me love you. Oh, I can draw again? Or is it different? Hmm? Is it different? The frog thing says I can use the thing to catch it. Okay. E. Nutrition potion. But how do I get there? Oh, I haven't even been in the caves yet. Money! Oh, we're rich. Let's go get stuff. Let's spend this money! Any of these reach up? Whoa. 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 How do I get up there? How do I get up there? Oh, heck. I have to go through this, huh? Okay. Here goes. Oh, it's dark. Can't go in. Right. It's dark. I need that twinkle twinkle potion. No! Does this need the nutrient stuff? Ow! What do I do here? Does this need the nutrient stuff? Likely, right? Should I try? Should I waste it? Possibly? It's so... Ah. Oh! Yay! This one didn't. Money! I'm just that good. Oh, not there. We're going down this way. What is this? Why does this have... Oh! I did it again! This one needs... piece of rock. There's a rock right here, possibly, that I could... Ah. Ah. 1, 2, 3... Yes! Repair. Come on. Come on. I fixed my first one. Now what? Oh, pretty. It's beautiful. Is this a garden decor? The one I saw at school was a hearth, if I remember correctly. The design depends on the creator's aesthetics. I like the creator's aesthetics. I think this one's way more stylish than the hearth. By the way, why were they made like hearths? Why are you flying on a broom? I can't quite get the taste of witches in the past. Anyway, let's use it right away. Whoa! I can see the witch's house. So this is an item for returning to the witch's house. But will I be able to teleport back if I use this? They usually are two-way, don't worry. Just entrust yourself to magic. This witch's station connects to the witch's garden. Use it? Yes! I got an achievement! In the blink of an eye. Ooh, and Diane's still there. Hello? I would like to purchase things. No chalk, but I can get this. I can afford a broom. Balanced. Commonly seen in witch society, versatile performance that anyone can easily adapt to. Very basic witch's broom. Used for a long time and repairs are easy, however, the movement is slow. One I can use a lot for a long time, but it's slower, or a fast one, but with low durability. Is it faster than the old one that I have, maybe? Versatile performance that anyone can easily adapt to. I don't know. Let's see. Equip. Oh, I didn't even... Maybe I can sell this. I think. Oh, be equipped with all 3 witch tools. Drive the trowel into the ground. Okay, I'm assuming it's the same. That's how you get mud. Can't go in. Okay. Now I just need... What do I need? I need ingredients still, don't I? Hi, hello. I was trying to read your name and I was like, okay. Hi, hello, welcome. A little difficult for me. Give me your fur. Got one. So it can run away from you completely if you don't catch up to it. Need this one, and I think I need the butterfly, so I need to wait for nighttime. Oh my god. No! It stood in front of something, so it lost it. Stop it! Stop running! Stop running! Stop running! Okay. There has to be an easier way to get those. For these bushes, I think it's easier if I shake it from the bottom. I hear a thing again. Oh, they're hidden under stuff. Like the little things from Legend of Zelda. A blue one! Wait, I need to draw it. Come back. Come back. Well, it gives you 2 if it's blue. Sharp Eye. Collect rare creatures 10 times. Rare? To repair a witch station, you need this. Oh, branches. Easy, easy, easy. One more. I think there was one on the ground, so I don't have to like spend my stamina picking it up. Somewhere. There was one, right? Game's like, haha, you thought. Actually, there isn't. I just had to talk to it again, I guess. Staminanium. Lovely. Use it right away? No. I need stamina. I guess I could eat... I'll eat the cupcake. I need to wait till nighttime. I need these bells to bloom. Maybe I could take a nap, right? It's never too late for a nap. There was the branches. It was right there. Take a nap for 3 hours. Now it's nighttime. Bees are up. Ah. There are other ones too. There was like a yellow one, wasn't there? Now's the time for us to be up and awake still. We've been going to bed at 8. Whoops, my bad. Here, thing. Is it? Oh, a bunch of mud. Okay. Quiet, steadily. Oh, I got one. Okay. But I need more. Should I? Am I done writing them into my journal, you think? Why can't I have a bunch right here? I'm pretty sure there was one that needed mud. Oh, I can't! Oh, I can go up this way though. Who needs that one? Carefully, carefully. I did it again, didn't I? I wanted to write it into my notebook. Maybe if I did it slowly? There's something in the water. I don't have enough stamina. I'm out of stamina. I guess it's time to go home. Can I even write? I can't. Boo! I'm always out of stamina. You're cute checking me? Me? 31%. I'll take it. I'll take it. Question is, what's your score? I don't have... it doesn't use that much. Oh, perfect. Now I can go get it. Whoa! How much does it cost to dive? I should have picked up. Oh wait, I have a cupcake. Dive. Nothing. What do I do? What do I do here? What do I do here? She's gonna drown. I'm gonna drown. I'm gonna drown. Second butterfly. Oh my goodness, it's midnight! She's EP, huh? I'll use it soon. I'll use it soon. I used my thing and I didn't. Whoops. No! They're gone! It's 1 AM. Do you pass out in this game? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I feel it. I feel it, I feel it, I feel it, I feel it, I feel it. I feel it, I feel it, I feel it, I feel it. Use. Can be used 2 times. You have to keep repairing it? Oh. Oh. Go eep. Go eep. Well. I think that's a good spot to call it, right? We got a lot of ingredients, not as much as we could have. No! It's already 2 and I'm hungry. We got 3 butterflies. I guess we could have glittering clay. Clay that glitters due to metal mixed in it. Melt the metal and it will obtain natural patterns. Interesting. Okay, well, I had fun. I hope you guys did too. I think the VOD got cut up into 2 videos, so I'll upload them to YouTube separately. The second one will come in 15 minutes after the first. But I will see you guys tomorrow. I had fun. I hope you guys did too. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I had a burp that refused to come up. And thank you for the sub. I appreciate you. Let's play more of this tomorrow, but next week, I don't know. Should I continue Death Stranding next week? That's a lot of brain cells. Holy heck. Alright. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for having